You're watching Cheery TV.
Howdy everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, where I talk about things that pertain to me and you listen and hopefully enjoy. Usually I'm pretty not pessimistic, but rude in the beginning. I'm going to be less rude today. Howdy everybody, hope you're doing fantastic. Regardless, if you're doing fantastic or not, I am doing okay. I feel like there's room for improvement, and I'm going to talk about that today. But generally speaking, I'm feeling pretty dang good. It is Thursday, so this is going up the same day I'm recording it, so you guys get to know the fullest updates of my life and my current issues with my teeth. Because again, today we're talking about my wisdom teeth. I could go into This Week in Retail. I don't remember what a damn thing, honestly, man. I don't think I really wrote anything down either. I'm sure there were some maybe interesting things that happened, but I kind of doubt it. And this isn't exactly what am I trying to say? This isn't exactly for that, because it's probably going to be a bit of a faster episode, just because I don't have anything really written down at all. But regardless, I've just lived this experience, so I should hopefully be able to say it pretty effectively. It might be broken up into a couple parts, just because in half an hour I have an appointment with the dentist. So that doesn't show yet. Well, in half an hour I have to leave. I'm not pushing it that close. But yeah, that just kind of, that's like a quick little subtle, not so subtle foreshadowing of the current situation for me. But yeah, so it all started on last Thursday, just a week ago. I got my wisdom teeth taken out around 8:30. I went in. I think I got there like 8:30, and I left before like 9. So before 9:30. So it was a very fast surgery. They were in and out of my mouth, which I'm assuming means it was a good thing. I have no idea. I personally have no freaking clue. But yeah, it was an interesting way there, because again, we had to my normal dentist doesn't have like a surgery section or whatever. I had to go to the same like a system of dentists, but it had to be a different building, because only certain buildings in the area do the surgery parts, which is interesting. I guess it makes sense, because you don't need that many buildings to be prepared for surgery, especially if it's oral surgery. I imagine if I was going to a hospital, they'd always be ready for surgery. But dentists, I guess, kind of have some leeway to that. I don't know. But yeah, so I had to go to a different one, which was further away, might I add. So we had a lot of fun getting there, but it was fun. It was pretty smooth. And I got there, plenty of time to spare. I got there, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm here for my appointment." I know, I'm like 20 minutes early. I'm just cool like that. But ultimately, everything I figured out, and I was called in. It was grand. I got called in. I'm trying to remember the things that actually happened before the surgery, but really nothing too crazy happened. We drove there. I set this appointment up. Well, actually, to be fair, I set this appointment up like 3 weeks ago. And we actually almost didn't go because my sister's friend, my sister-in-law, I guess is what I should be saying this entire time. I'm very bad at titles of things. My sister-in-law was supposed to be taking us, and they kind of forgot. And there's only one thing in the world that really, really gets me mad, and that is when scheduling goes sideways. Like if I schedule something and someone just shuts it down at the most inconvenient moment, especially because like even if they forgot about it like 2 weeks in, like, I can't do it. I'm like, okay, I can reschedule for next week or something. They forgot, and they only told me they forgot the day of, because that's when I reminded them about it. Which is, I guess, my egg on my face. I should have reminded them more, but I got a little mad. I didn't like outwardly display that madness. I wasn't being rude. I was but ultimately everything was fine. Everything got squared away, and we were able to go. So yippee-ki-yay, nothing too bad. Scheduling conflict was thrown out the window, and I felt immediately incredibly bad for even feeling bad in the first place, because this person only ever cares for like the best for me and everyone in my family. So It honestly wasn't malicious. I didn't think it was malicious. I'm just a dick. You know, what can I tell you? I'm just an asshole. I'm just a selfish piece of shit who wanted to get his teeth out. Because they haven't been hurting, for context, I guess. They haven't been hurting that much. As of recent. But there's been days where I'm just completely out of it. Like, there's no freaking talking, moving, anything. Just because, especially on the right side, my wisdom tooth on the bottom would hurt so much. Like, I couldn't fucking do anything. I would still have to work half those times, and that sucked. But ultimately, recently I hadn't been that much of a problem. But that's not to say they were growing in better. They were not growing in right at all. Not a single one of them was growing in correctly. Especially the bottom ones, they were growing like at a slant into my cheek, or they were growing like from my cheek out into like a little bit of my gums. But they weren't growing right, because I have a very small jaw. Genetically speaking, I have a very small jaw. And that's not the only thing. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, my eyes, maybe. My eyes small? I feel like my eyes are small, at least compared to some other people's eyes. But then, yeah, I don't know. Either way, so yeah, it's been causing a bit of pain before, and I thought about getting them taken out, but I didn't really know. I didn't have a dentist at the time, and then came March, I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to a dentist appointment finally, for the first time in like 4 years. And they were like, oh, you've got issues. I'm like, oh, yeah, I bet. Got all those squared away, and then, squared away in quotations, because I don't know if they're really squared away, but I'm trying my best to make them squared away, taking a lot more better care of my dental health. And then they were like, hey, you noticed your wisdom teeth are growing in all fucky. You should probably get those taken out, because it is better to do it early than never do it, and then do it later, because there's a lot more complications if you do it later. I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. You know, I'm not opposed to this. My favorite type of living is when people just tell me what to do, and then I do it. So easy, so much smoother. Just an all-around better time for me, which is great. It's good, jolly Christmas time. The funnest time of my life is when people are telling me what to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, but I had to get a consultation at this other place. So I already kind of knew that I had to go further out for this stupid surgery, but it's fine. And they were like, oh, yep, they're growing in. You gotta get them out. I'm like, yep, I know. They're like, all right, we'll see you then. I'm like, okay. So that was the whole point of the consultation, was literally just for them to be like, hey, you need these taken out, even though they already told me that to their dentist. So consultation was a little bit funky, but they didn't really ask much about sedations or anything. That was when I was getting billed, which I'm not going to get into. Let's just say expensive, but not bad. You know, like, I feel like, at least for me, still living at home, not having bills to pay, just made it a lot easier for me to be like, oh yeah, I can do that. But I imagine if anyone had bills to pay, losing that much money out of nowhere, my head probably would suck. but I didn't have to worry about that. And also because I was saving all that money anyway for issues if they arose for me or my family. So hey, there we go. There's an issue. Just throw it at the money. Throw the money at it. Try to get it out of there. But yeah, so made the appointment for last Thursday, and I just played the waiting game for a while. And I played the waiting game for 3 weeks. Almost couldn't. I almost had to play it for longer. But then we got it squared away. Everything was baller. We went there, got there early. I gave them my information or whatever, and they were like, all right, we'll take you soon. And then they took me soon, and then I went in there. They sat me down, and they were like, okay, we're going to get you set up, and we're going to get you going. And I'm like, all right, cool. So they put a bunch of little, like, heart rate monitor things, like one on my wrist and 2 on my chest. And I feel like I failed that just because I was not like panicky, but for whatever reason, my heart rate was constantly going up and down, up and down. I think it was because I was getting nervous. Hopefully that was the reason. I didn't feel that nervous, so I don't know if that was the reason. I should probably get that checked out at the doctor, but I gotta wait for that because I need some cash flow. But either way, I was fine. I still am fine. So we're balling there, at least in terms of that. But and then they told me that I was getting the I knew I was getting sedated for it. I imagined it was gonna be like the face mask thing. It was actually the IV drip which meant I had to poke it into one of my veins, which, to say the least, I don't like. I don't like veins. Veins are gross. Veins are weird. They're good for my soul, but not for my actual soul. So I don't like veins. That song didn't make it clear. I don't like when people mention my veins. I don't like when I see my veins. I don't like when I see other people's veins. All around, veins freak me out because in my head, you poke that, blood comes out, and bad time. But I think it's just because for the longest time, I've mistaken veins with arteries in my childhood. Because I always heard, like, oh, if you accidentally cut an artery, you're just dead. And I always just assumed an artery was like a bigger vein. So anytime someone had a bigger vein poking out, I'm always like, oh my god, don't cut that. Paper, watch out. Don't go away. Don't read a paper. Oh god. So yeah, but it still translates to veins. It doesn't matter. It's still blood in there. It's still kind of gross. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. Even thinking about it, I have my hands in my head or my head in my hands. My hands are inside of my mouth, poking at my teeth. But yeah, so I was like, okay, listen, if you're gonna do it, don't even tell me, just do it. And you know what? They did. They kind of gave me a little bit of a subtlety. They're like, all right, and then they did it. And so they didn't. I asked. They were like, do you want me to just do it? And I'm like, yeah. And then they kind of gave a little bit of a hint that they were doing it, which is fair, I guess. It gave me some time to brace because as I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh my god, I don't want them to do it without any warning. Oh my god, why did I say that? That was such a mistake. But I didn't say anything about it. But then they gave me a sort of warning anyway. So yippee, thank you to them. They knew what they were doing more than I did. But yeah, so they put it in, and they were like, all right, you're gonna drift away, and then we'll see you soon. And I was like, I don't believe you, but okay, sure. I'm just gonna lay my head on this chair, and they were putting shit in my mouth, like a big old like guard thing, I guess, to hold over my jaw. And they're like, all right, well, we'll see you there. And I was like, okay, sure, I believe you. And I didn't really feel like I was drifting out at all. I felt pretty awake. And then suddenly I wasn't. And I was gone, to say the least. Which was a weird feeling. Because again, I've never actually knocked out before. Never passed out before. So randomly just going from awake to not awake, very weird. And I don't remember much of that interim, thank goodness, because I shouldn't, because I was asleep. But I swear I have a faint memory of like waking up during it, but like very, very barely. Like, I can just kind of remember like a little bit of talking, maybe some drills or something. There was a broken color. I couldn't really see anything. I felt like I saw something, but it was all just like broken colors, just like a bunch of nothing. Like I had no idea what was going on, but I heard stuff going on around me. I just couldn't make out what it was. And then that was for like not even 5 seconds before I wound up asleep again. And then I woke up, and everything was baller. I was awake. I was 2-3. I was pretty set and ready. Sorry, I freak out about appointments and shit. Okay, it's fine. But yeah, so I woke up, and the first thing that I did when I woke up was I was immediately escorted to the car, and I was taken away. I thought I could ask questions. I thought there were just things I thought I was gonna get some like rest time there. No. So I don't know if that's necessarily the usual practice. If it is, if it's not, I don't care. Because either way, I got home fine. I was just very confused because I was like, oh, we're leaving already? And obviously this was like the loopy time. So, hey, you're going to get to hear about me being loopy. Let me tell you, it's not really anything special compared to what I normally am anyway. They are driving good. Okay, sorry, I have a car coming for me. They're just going slow. But what am I saying? Yeah, so like nothing too crazy really happened while I was all looped out. I do remember waking up and immediately thanking the hell out of the nurses and the doctors and shit. I was like, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And they were like, I don't even know if they said anything. All I remember next was being escorted out by my sister and sister-in-law, which was an interesting time. They had a lot of fun, and honestly, I didn't feel the need to be escorted. Like, they were, like, holding me, like, making sure I could walk, and I was like, I got this, I'll be fine. And I even, like, got off and like started doing a little dance like towards the car because I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I can move. I got this. I can open my own door. I can get in. I'll be fine. They didn't trust me still though. They let me do a little dance for a second. And they were like, okay, he's gonna fall. Maybe I tripped at some point during the dance. I don't remember. I don't have very good coordination with dancing. So maybe I did. I just don't remember it. But from what I remember, I was fine. Basically fine. They let me in the car. And then we just started driving away. And almost immediately into driving, I was like, can I see your teeth? Can I look at my teeth? And they're like, you didn't give me your teeth. And I was like, what? I was so upset about the fact that they didn't give me my teeth. Because I wanted my teeth. Not the whole point of doing this, but one of the bigger things that was supposed to come out of this is I got to see my funky ass teeth inside my face. I wanted those teeth. I wanted them. They were mine. I deserved them. I earned those teeth. I wanted them. And they were like, no, we didn't get them. We're not going. I was like, can we turn around? They're like, we're not doing that. I'm like, I think they just thought I was looped out of my mind and said, oh, we're just going to get you home so you can rest. But I was very focused on getting my teeth. So focused, in fact, that I called. I was like in the midst of calling the dentist because I was like, this is out fucking outrageous. I want my teeth. So I called, and again, keep in mind, I still had all this gauze in my mouth. I was still incredibly sedated. The entire time I was like playing with my lower lip, like I was doing a on my lower lip because it was so numb. I didn't feel it. I just felt like the little tingles from being numb. Like I was just like, oh, this is fun. And I was just calling them. And apparently at one point, I don't remember doing this, but apparently at one point I started opening the car door while they were driving so that way I could get out and get my teeth. Because I wanted my teeth. That meant so much to me, getting my silly little teeth. But I didn't get them. I didn't get them, and I wanted them. And so after I guess a failed attempt of doing that, I started calling them. And I called, and someone actually picked up, like, immediately. And I was like, hello. And again, keep in mind, I'm, like, completely fucked out of my mind. Like, gauzed, everything was... I felt horrible, like, realizing what I was doing. Because I was like, they had to try to understand me. And I was like, hello, I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And I didn't get my teeth. Can we come back get my teeth? Can I get my teeth? And... after saying that a few times, the person at the phone was like, "Oh, okay, let me go check with the doctor." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then they came back with the saddest news I've ever heard in my life. They said, "Well, not maybe not, but they're close to, very close to. When you're that looped out of your mind, every news is sad news, especially if you're not expecting it." So they gave me the news that they considered my teeth a biohazard, and they were immediately taken away. So there was no getting my teeth at that point in time, and I'd never get to see them. I'd never get them again. And I was like, oh man, okay, well, thank you. Again, I wasn't being rude. I was genuinely just like, oh man, that sucks. Thank you though. I appreciate it. Bye. And I think they hung up before I did. I think they were just they didn't need that. But yeah, so I didn't get my teeth, and I'm really upset about that because I wanted to show you guys my teeth. That's the only real, that's the thing. All I wanted the teeth for was just to kind of have like a little, be like, oh my god, disgusting, for like a couple minutes, and then be like, never look at that again. I put it in a drawer and never even think about it until like a couple of years later, and I'm starting to clean out my room, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? Ew. Oh, it's my teeth. Wow, it's so cool. And then I forget about it again. But I'm always gonna show you guys, obviously, because who the fuck wouldn't? But yeah, I was just kind of a drooly mess until we got home. And when we got home, I had to wait because my prescriptions weren't ready because I was getting medication for this. I was getting some antibacterial thing and then some pain relief thing. But neither were ready yet, apparently. So we had to wait a little bit. And during that time, the numbness was starting to go away. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is awful. This is pain. I pretty much was just in pain. And eventually, they were ready, so we went out. Also, throughout this entire time, my sister-in-law, shout out to you, dude. Fantastic person. They were there to help the entire day. They were changing my gauze every, like, hour or so. They were changing out my gauze. make sure I was cozy, make sure I was comfortable, make sure I was taking my medicine, even though I was very capable of doing it myself. But they didn't know that, so I was like, hey, I appreciate it. I very much so appreciate everything they did. But yeah, so we went to get my medicine, which I did get, and I have been taking this entire week. Have been. I'll make sure I said that correctly. Have been. And yeah, like, they gave me apparently a very, very strong pain medication. Like I don't want to specify too much, but like I'm gonna specify a little bit because it made me laugh. One of the common brands of the pain medication is Vicodin. So I immediately was like, oh, we need more mouse bites at the house. So I really just like, I'm housed now. This is awesome. I still have a couple of those left actually because I was saving them for when I felt really painful, which I should have taken by now, but haven't. But yeah, so I was taking them regularly the first like 2 or 3 days, and then after that I was like, okay, I'm only gonna take them when I'm feeling a lot of pain. Which I immediately fucking denied myself that because I don't know what it is. I'm not really a medicine taking person. Like I took the antibacterial as consistently as I could, which was I took them 3 times a day, every day for this whole week. Except I took 2 on Thursday and took 1 today because that makes up the whole 24 hours. So I took them. I took those. And I'm not stupid. Of course I was gonna take those. But yeah, so I was just a big old excited man. Got my medicine, and I got my medication, and they were like, oh my god, you look like hell. I'm like, I feel like hell, yes, thank you. And I eventually got to the point where they were shopping while I was getting my medication, so I was just sitting on the floor, writhing in pain, because they didn't have any water on me. I couldn't take my medicine right away. But I did in the car, which is good, but it took a little bit because they were looking at stuff, which is fair. I mean, I was taking them out there. If they wanted to look at something, they can get something. I'm not gonna hold them up. I'm not gonna be an asshole and be like, no, you can't do that. I need to go home. But no, they can do whatever the fuck they want. They're their own person, their own people, even. But yeah, so then we got home, took my medicine, and I just got to chill in my room, and they chilled with me for a little bit. We were watching, I believe, Phineas and Ferb, which I've been watching past couple weeks. Very good show. Very happy. I'm almost done with the 2nd season, and there's still 2 seasons. I haven't really watched a whole bunch of the 3rd and 4th season. Like, I can't remember. Like, the 1st and 2nd season, I could pretty much remember every episode that I've seen so far. But I looked ahead into 3 and 4, and there were a couple episodes that I remembered, but I didn't really remember much of it. I definitely didn't watch any of, like, the little, like, sequel, like, the movie bits, like the Star Wars one, the Marvel one, all those. I haven't actually watched those, so it's interesting to, it's gonna be interesting to watch those, finally. And then there's a bunch of movies. I watched the Second Dimension movie, but I haven't watched the 2020 Candace movie. So it's interesting to see. I'm excited to see that. I need to go. I have 1 minute until the car gets here to go for another dentist appointment, which I'll get to when I get back, I guess. So I'll see you all shortly. Was that short enough for you? Welcome back, everybody. There's not been a break or anything for you guys, at least. But for me, it's been a couple hours, actually. TLDR, all is good. Everything's grand. I'm just a paranoid bastard. Which I guess can now stem into the next segment of this, titled The Healing, I guess. I don't know. Again, I don't have anything written down. So, kind of just winging it. So, we just spoke about, surgery went well. Everything was dandy there. And recovery started a little weird because, again, medication didn't come immediately, so it was a little rough for that, like, first day. But after even the first day, it wasn't really all that bad. There was definitely, like, I had gauze in my mouth the entire day because there was a lot of bleeding. There was a lot of, just bloody mucus, I guess. Like, when I had the gauze in my mouth, every time I took it out, it got to a point where there wasn't as much blood, but there was still, like, bloody saliva, so there was definitely still some bleeding, so I kept it in there until there was essentially nothing on the gauze, and I was like, alright, sweet, we're good, and after that, it's honestly been fairly smooth. I will say, swelling didn't really hit me too hard. I generally think I started healing pretty good. I felt pretty confident about it, just because I didn't feel like I was really swollen. There was a fair amount of pain, but it wasn't something that like the painkillers couldn't stop. Like the pain medication I got couldn't like stop for, like decently enough anyway. It was honestly pretty fine. Like it was pretty okay. There were times within the day that there was a lot more pain, and then obviously for the first couple of days actually I couldn't really speak very well, just because it was genuinely just so painful. And keep in mind, I got it on Thursday. I was off Thursday. I then worked Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and then I was busy Monday and Tuesday doing stuff. So ultimately, I haven't really given myself much of a break time. But I have been taking it easier. Not easy, but easier, to say the least. Yeah, so that Friday, everything went pretty okay. It was truck, so I had to immediately go from doing nothing as best as I could've, to I'm gonna lift some boxes and move things around in the back room, which I took very slowly. Incredibly slowly. It took me a long time to get that finished, but it wasn't as much. It wasn't a big truck, so it was pretty good. Still made good time. Still got a lot out. I just took it easier, and then if I wasn't, and I made sure that I was taking it smartly. I wasn't just being like, oh, well, I've done this stuff. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna go back to doing exactly what I did before. No, I took it pretty seriously. I'm still taking it pretty seriously, as you could tell from me going to another appointment a week later. The reason for the appointment, I guess we can get into now. I thought there was like something in in one of my sockets. 'Cause I got like this thing. You guys saw it actually. Like at least some of you might have seen it. I did a quick little thing live a little bit ago. I got like a couple of like cool cameras, and one of the things I got was it was on clearance for like $7. It was a water flosser with a camera in it, so you can like see around and like make sure you're actually getting like a good flossing with the water flosser. Like it's really cool. But if you take off the little watered floss knob, it's kind of just a really good camera. It's really nice just to get in there and like see what's going on. And ever since I've been able to kind of open my mouth a little bit better, I've been using that. And I didn't really look too deep the last few days because it was still kind of painful to go over there. But I was like, okay, things look good, okay, I think. But then last night I went to look and I thought I saw something in my bottom left socket. And then just generally the bottom right socket. Like right now it doesn't really hurt. It's just kind of like weird. It feels weird over there. So it's been a little funky there. But I was just like, okay, I'm gonna double check. And also there's like some like white. I saw some white, and I'm like, I heard like white pus can come, and that means it could be infected, and I was freaking out. I can still kind of see the bone down there, so at least I think. So I was worried that I was like reading like a dry socket or something. There's a lot of just potential issues that I immediately flung myself towards the conclusion of. So I was like, okay, we're going to go to the dentist and get that checked out. But I did, and I got there like half an hour early, and they took me almost immediately. I was confused. When they said, I thought I heard my name, and I turned, and I had music, and I had taken an earbud out to be like, me? Yeah, they're ready for you. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. Even though it was half an hour early, I was like, all right, sweet. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome. So I got seen. And they said it was fine. They said everything was cool. They said there was something weird, but since it was such like they were very deeply deep extractions, like a very deep impact. So things are gonna get a little bit funky, but generally speaking, everything was very healthy. He didn't give me more medications or anything. He didn't tell me to change what I'm doing with it. He just said, yeah, it's normal. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. There's nothing in there. Don't worry about it. You're fine. So. Feeling good about that. But yeah, so yeah, he said everything was going healthy, which confuses me because again, the thing with me, I'm very paranoid about health related things specifically. So when it comes to my teeth, I immediately assume I know better than them, and I'm like, well, there's a thing there, isn't there? I'm like, nope, it's all good. It's just you're good. I'm like, really? Yeah, yep. I'm like, okay, I guess. I believe him, and I'm trying my best to just be like, he's a doctor, he knows the best, so obviously I'm fine. But there's still in the back of my head, I feel like he's an idiot. I feel like he has no idea what he's talking about. I feel like I know what I'm talking about. It's my mouth, and I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I don't, by the way. Just a quick lesson here. Doctors know better than you. because I googled the hell out of this all the entire time waiting until I woke up so I could make an appointment, and I found a bunch of things being like, oh, if you had this problem, then it might relate to this being a problem during your teeth extraction, or whatever, and like this, that, yada yada yada, just a bunch of things that made me think, so yeah, I got, but we're all good. We're all dandy and fine. I will say, a couple days ago, I experienced like probably the most pain from everything, which is a bit funky. Aside from like the first couple of days, but I think that's just because my ear was fucking funky. Because I listen to music too often and too loud, so my ears tend to get a little bit funky, and I think that part paired up with my general to like mouth pain back there to just be like, oh my god, I hate myself. But with that said, even with all that pain, I didn't take my pain med that time because I was like, it's probably gonna be even worse in the morning, so I'm gonna take it in the morning. But it didn't actually hurt at all in the morning. And again, that was like the night before, so I feel great now. I feel pretty fine. Like, other than obviously still some little bit of discomfort, but he said that's normal because it was a very heavy extraction or deep extraction. I forget the word he used. So it's pain still expected. It's only been a week. He said it could take another week to really get back into the swing of things properly, and he said if anything, to go back. And I'm like, okay. I probably will, because I'm a paranoid son of a bitch. There's just holes in my mouth. But yeah, so it's been pretty good though. Generally speaking, it's not really changed too much about me and my everyday, except I've probably just been eating more, honestly. Like, I've been eating less calorically dense and healthy. Not healthy, but like, I never really ate healthy. I've been a lot more healthy lately. But I've been eating slightly more, but like smaller meals, just like microwave things, but things like just quick eats. Every time I've come home the past week or so, I've had mashed potato, which is, love mashed potato. Shout out to my mom for helping me make them, because as much as instant mashed potato should be easy, for me, I get confused. But now I know how to do it. She does it really fast. She puts milk in there and butter, and then she doesn't even wait for it to boil. She just kind of adds it all in, and once it gets nice and warm, then it's like, alright, you got potatoes. And every single time it's been a banger, except for this last one, but that's because it was a chicken broth mashed potato, and I don't think it really sat well. Which, not the fault of hers at all. It's worse, I guess, the fault of chicken broth mashed potato. Idaho, what the fuck are you doing? But yeah, diet has been pretty much just mashed potatoes when I come home from work, and then I'll pack like a mac and cheese cup in like a Chef Boyardee can, and I won't chew on any of it. I'll just kind of let it just go down my gullet because I'm too afraid to chew with my back teeth still, because there's a hole in there. So I'm like, I don't really think I should be eating with my whole mouth. So I've not been. I've very much so just been, if I have been chewing, I chew with the front teeth, and then I'll even like press it up against the top of my mouth just so I can kind of like dissolve it with my saliva, and then I'll just swallow it. I'm way too afraid to put anything back. The only things that I've chewed on lately were, I had, my sister made cookies, and I had a couple. They were like salted caramel, whatever. They were good. I liked them, but I took tiny ass bites, and I like chewed it for like 2 or 3 times with my top teeth, and I just chunked it down the back of my throat. Didn't let it touch anywhere else. And then I had a Pop-Tart yesterday morning. I had a Pop-Tart because I was like, I'm going to try to eat more whole things. Maybe it's probably better to start slowly easing my way in. I feel a lot better, so I'm going to try to ease my way back in. And it was fine. I didn't hurt at all eating that. But again, I didn't use my back teeth at all. I just used my front ones. So until I noticed there's next to no, if any, hole at all, even if there is still a tiny bit of a hole there, which might take months to heal, I'm not gonna be eating many chunky things or crunchy things or whatever. I'm taking it incredibly safe because I am a paranoid baby man. But it's fine. I'm happy to do that. I'd rather it heal better and me just eat fucking mashed potatoes and mac and cheese with V8 in it, by the way. Pro tip, if you want your vegetables V8, very fucking good. Like, even the low sodium one, so good. And I've been putting it in my mac and cheese cups, so it kind of tastes like my mom makes mac and cheese with tomato soup in it, so it's essentially just microwave my mom's mac and cheese, which is it's good. It's not the same, obviously. It's way worse, but it's not bad. It's good. Like, my mom's mac and cheese, perfection. This is good. It's a microwave version. It's very good. So a Velveeta cup of mac and cheese mixed with like some V8. I put a ton of it in there just because I like the flavor of it, and it adds more like soupiness to it to the mac and cheese. So it's good, and also cools it down a lot more because I still haven't really been eating anything too hot. The hottest thing I had, I think, yet has been like a thing of tortellini. Like, even then, I did chew on that a little bit, but I mostly just swallowed that shit whole. I cut it up before I put it in my mouth, and then I just swallowed it. So it's not been too flavorful of a day, but I have been honestly eating better. I've been getting like I figured it said like high calorie, high protein, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all my protein if I can't just chew on like meat and stuff. So I was like, let me try to get some like protein things. And I got Ensure, which is probably the worst thing I could have gotten. Not because it's not like healthy, because it's disgusting. It tastes like ass. It tastes like just a gross milkshake. And I don't like milkshakes. I don't really care much for them. Like, I had a couple, they were okay, but I didn't really like them. I wouldn't drink them again. And that just tasted like a spoiled one, so I wasn't very happy with it. The French vanilla Ensure, disgusting. I had 2 of them though. I still have 2 in the fridge. I should probably finish those before they go bad. It would be smart to have them anyway. But one of my coworkers saw me drinking one of those and said, what's wrong with you? Like, why not get like a much better one? And so they got me like a Fairlife milk strawberry banana one that tastes like, it's a protein shake. It just tastes like strawberry, like faint strawberry milk, which I don't like milk, but that tasted delicious. That was really good. I loved that. That tasted amazing. So I haven't gotten more of those because I don't know where they get those, and I'm not about to go find it. I'm lazy. So pretty easy decision for me there. But yeah, it was good. So ultimately, diet-wise, for this stuff, hasn't really changed much of my diet. I've just been eating less crunchy things and more of the soft things I like. Mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, all the good stuff. Chef Boyardee, I pretty much eat Chef Boyardee most of the time. I feel like I'm getting a little too much sodium, but I always feel like I'm getting a little too much sodium, so I don't really care too much, if I'm being honest. But ultimately, I feel like I'm doing okay. And now that I went to the dentist again to double check, I feel like I'm doing even better. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very weird having holes in my mouth, because I always still feel it. And one of the weird things, I don't know exactly, it's not really happening now. It still kind of is. It's not as prevalently. The left side of my cheek, left side of my mouth's cheek, the inside of the cheek, I kind of feel it like hitting my teeth more than it used to. I don't know if it's just because like the back tooth is not there, so it's kind of like rubbing against the back of my like backest tooth, and it feels like I constantly have food stuck in my mouth, which is like a horrible feeling to have. But it's not like pain. It's just inconvenient and confusing. So that's why I've been chewing my cud so much. Just stranded this recording, you probably hear me just stopping and like chewing for a second. I'm not eating food. I'm just like, I feel like there's food in my mouth, so I'm trying to get it out of there, but there is no food in my mouth. I'm just insane. When I am gonna flush my mouth real quick. But yeah, ultimately, all this to say, it's going well. It's going well. Obviously, it wasn't going well enough for me to. It went unwell enough for me to panic about it and go check. But apparently, he said everything was going fine. Everything was going great. Just keep it up. So I'm gonna keep it up and give it a few more weeks, or at least a week, I imagine. But it could be more than that. I don't really know. I don't really care. I'd rather, again, I could have to eat like this for months. It's very easy. It's very, very straightforward. And honestly, I've been feeling better. I mean, again, like, this kind of opened up the door for me even eating healthier in the first place. Because I know I've been wanting to do, like, V8 at least. Because I don't really like the texture of many vegetables or fruits or whatever. But I know they're good for you, so I'm like, I want to get some. And so the low-sodium V8 is actually really good. Because it's, like, it's only 6% of your sodium. And it's a bunch of just your vitamins that you need to have. And I don't really, I probably don't get very much of those otherwise. I tried doing, like, multivitamins, but I'm bad at swallowing pills, except I've been getting better at it, and with these, it actually hasn't been a problem. at all. I think it's because of the multivitamin. I sort of trained my brain to actually enjoy that. So, but also I know I don't want to overdo it. So I've stopped taking them mainly because I don't want to accidentally overdo a vitamin or whatever. Because then that could cause more problems. I know it's supposed to be like consult your doctor before you do any sort of like supplemental intake. So do that. Don't just get a vitamin because you think you're low on something. Get one because your doctor said so. Again, I made it very clear during my like stupid online tests, but just as a general rule of advice for life, don't just Google your problems away. Go to a doctor. Does it cost money? Yes. But if you want a genuine, correct answer and approach to how you should treat yourself and take care of yourself, just go to a doctor. It'll save you a lot of hassle and a lot of just mental, not instability, but just mental struggle. Because obviously, even though I'm still like, there's definitely something still in the back of my teeth. There isn't. It's fine. But my brain's going to think that there is, but I know now, because I went to a professional, that I'm fine. So I'm not freaking out as much. I am still freaking out a little bit, but I'm freaking out not nearly as much, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah. So, again, you can tell I'm off script, because I'm saying, but yeah, way more than I normally do. So, that's about it. Nothing else to really say. If there is, I'm trying my best to think about it, because again, I'm off script. I have nothing written down for this. I'm trying to figure out. I like doing it like this, though, because it feels more fun to talk like this, instead of just trying to hit bullet points. I feel like I'm actually just conversating, which is what this whole thing is about, and what it started as. So, probably going to keep doing this, even if it doesn't exactly relate to much of a conversation. Again, it works better. It would work better if there was someone else here, because then I could chat with them as a conversation. If they had questions, which would then expand my brain. I will say one thing, though, that I absolutely still hate about myself. I'm horrible at asking questions, at follow-up, especially with professionals. Like, with Google, I feel like I could give any stupid question and I'd get an equally stupid, if not completely useless answer. So it's like, whatever. But whenever I go to like the doctors or the dentist or whatever, I never remember to ask the questions that I have until I get into the car to go home. I'm like, oh, I have questions. Too late, dipshit. Like, I don't take the time to sit and process what they're saying and then ask questions based off of it. I just take it and I'm like, okay, sounds good, bye. Because I'm like, I still had questions. I no longer have questions because I kind of forgot them, but I'm sure I'll remember them and think about it for the next week until some improvement shows again, and I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. But it just sucks. So again, if you're gonna go to a doctor, especially, ask all your questions. You're not gonna get paid you're not gonna get charged per question. You're gonna get charged per visit. So if you have your questions, just list them and say them, and they'll give you an answer. They're not gonna feel like you're wasting their time. They're there to help you and answer your questions. So ask them. Don't think. Take time while you're there to think about it, and then ask a question. Because otherwise, you're gonna think about something and be panicking about it, and then going for another appointment, which could potentially mean you're spending more money. So, and also it just means you're not as there, because you're in your brain. You're like, oh god, I'm not actually healthy. Everything's going wrong. So just generally speaking, think. Just think while you're there. Don't think afterwards. Think before and then think during. Don't think after. Try to get everything you could possibly think of out of the way while you're there. It'll save you a lot of struggle, and it'll probably be a lot of money in the long run. Assuming you have pretty insurance, especially dentally. Also, just get dental insurance. Get good dental insurance. Because not a lot of like health insurances cover dental. You need to get dental separately. And dental it can be very expensive. Like, obviously, if your mouth's fine, and you know your mouth's fine, it still doesn't hurt to get, like, your two checkups a year, and if you have decent dental, they can cover that entirely. Makes it easy. But, I mean, even so, if something does happen, then if you have basic shitty dental like me, you end up spending a lot more than you probably should have on things. But either way, I'm happy that I did it, so I'm not mad at all. I don't feel slighted. I don't feel like they ripped me off in the slightest. I feel like I'm on the road to recovery in a very good way, and I was just confirmed that. So we're doing great. Everything's going great, and I'm having a great time. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Stranded Deep, in conversation. If you all have questions for me, feel free to ask them in the comments, and I'll answer them. If you have anything you want me to know, if you have just anything you want to talk about, again, I'm always available and ready to just chat with anybody. Really, I like talking to people. So, if you have anything you want to ask, say, do, I don't know. I have no idea. I still don't know how to sign off of a damn video. It's only been 2 years. I like talking. I don't know. That's why I like streams. It's very fun. Very, very fun. And Saturday, I should be streaming. It'll be a good old time. So, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye now, everybody.